I blew the lid off this rig. It's been several years ago, back when we were ledge fishing and we didn't have forward-facing sonar. Well, this has got extremely popular and has made a huge comeback. And to this day, still not a lot of people talk about this rig. And some people are gonna get mad at me again because I'm gonna do another video on it. But this thing is awesome. Let me show you. So in a couple of past videos, we talked about big worms, both straight tail and ribbon tail, and when, where, and why you want to use them. Because let's face it, we hear all the time, hey, it's summertime, you need to be throwing a big worm. But nobody really tells you how or where or which one to throw or how to rig it. That video covers all that, and I'll leave a link to that in this video, to that video at the end. But in another video, we talked about this little bait right here in my top 5 Neko Rig Worm video. And number 1 was the J Bros Haymaker, and we got some great underwater footage to show you. And today we're going to be talking about a question that came about this particular worm when we were talking about this particular rig. And this was something that I did a video on years ago, and I got a little bit of hate for that because it was still something that the ledge fishing community was keeping kind of hush hush, and you really don't see it in a lot of videos even to this day. They still keep it kind of on the hush hush. So if you know, you know, or if you know someone that does, you know, but if you don't, you get left out. Well, I'm gonna piss them off again because I'm gonna do another video talking about the Mag Neko Rig Worm for summer bass. Now, I will be honest with you, that's a little big, okay? This is like a 12-inch worm, I think, as you hear the thunder in the background. Yeah, it was only supposed to 15% chance of rain today. So, and no thunderstorms, but sounds like we're getting ready to get a good one. So, yeah, 10.5 inch. This is one of my favorite big worms, straight tail. It floats, and this is the Mighty Worm by Yum. But the worm that I love to Mag Neko, and what's really funny is one of a lot of people's favorite worms to Mag Neko is the bigger cut tail worm from Yamamoto. I like those worms. Those are one of my very favorite worms in clear water, but I don't care too much for it on the Neko because it's very soft. It really doesn't have a lot of action. The cut tail's got a pretty good action on the drop, but rigging those bigger worms like those Mag Trick worms, those big Yum worms, and those bigger worms like that is really good. Now this worm is only a 6-inch worm, so I don't know if we could call it Mag, but it really looks just like a bigger worm. You know, even just a 7 or 8-inch worm, this is one of my favorite worms to rig it on, and I'm going to show you how to rig this today. And I'll give you how to rig the big boys too. So the very first thing I do is, because generally if I'm fishing it during the summer, I'm gonna fish it a little bit deeper. So one of the things is I'm gonna use a big weight. This is, I think, a 3/8 ounce weights. Again, I will put links in the description so that you can go pick up everything in this video. Hey, if you're going to shop at Tackle Warehouse, do me a favor, go down in the description. Make sure you bookmark those Tackle Warehouse links. It helps us out. It's the best way to support the channel. We don't do memberships and stuff like that, so really supporting the channel. You know, you can either donate down below to us, or you can just go use those links. Now, if you don't mind, if you're on a mobile device and not a PC or a laptop, scan that code right there. That QR code is going to help you link and save and bookmark that link to your phone or your tablet. Now, I also like a weight that has a head sticking out of it. And the reason why I like a head sticking out of it is because I'm throwing this deep. So I want to be able to feel the bottom, especially like a shell bed bottom. I want to be able to feel what I'm dragging it across, but I also want that little bit of sound coming from this worm while I'm dragging it across the bottom. All right, geeks, so I shared this with you a little while back, and I want to share it with you again for those of you that may not have seen this. I love these little tools. You can kind of put your worm in there, and the tool alone on other websites is like $20-something, 26 or something like that. I got all this for 12. It's 3 different sizes, and I know a lot of them have the little rings in them, but you can stick a hook right through these and rig them either horizontally or vertical, and it was $12 for all of them, 3 sizes and this. Again, there'll be a link in the description for Amazon too. I mean, this is a heck of a deal. If you fish a wacky rig a lot, this is a heck of a deal. Go check them out. I'm not sponsored by them. This is one of those things I'm just sharing with you because it is, it's a steal. All right, geeks, so since this is a bigger girthy worm, take a drink. This is, we're gonna use the bigger O-ring. So what we're gonna do is we're just gonna take the O-ring tool and we're just gonna slide it up on there. This worm's got a little egg sac right there, and I like to put it right there on that first egg sac so that you get the most action out of it. So I'm gonna go in the big way. I'll just show you right here. I'll go straight in and to about right there. And there you have it. So I like to rig a Nico this way because it makes it a little more weedless. We'll talk about hook size here in a minute. But one of the things I was telling you earlier is you can actually come in and you can rig right, if you want to rig it horizontal, you come right through that thing. So, and it's not going to be a big deal. I'm not going to do it because we're Nico rigging. Now, when we talk about hook size, this is a 3/0 EWG. Bigger worms, if I'm going to use that Yum Mighty worm, I may even use a 4 or 5/0 on that worm. But also be careful because the bigger the hook, the quicker that worm is going to fall over because of the weight of the hook. And this is a nice kind of lighter wire. It's not really a light wire, but kind of a medium wire hook. And so, and where I've got it down deep, it's going to set up a little bit longer. But before we even put the hook on, we're going to take this and we're going to shove this in the center of the bait. Now, one thing I would recommend is putting a drop of glue right there because you will sling this out. You're making long casts. Next up, again, Pitsine knot or San Diego jam. Those are my jam. And then we're just going to run it right up and through. And there you have a Mag Neko rig. All right, so we got a lot of new geeks around here, and one of the things you might not know about me is I definitely was not born with a silver spoon in my mouth. I actually shoveled to be able to buy my first 12-foot John boat. I fished up until I was 32 or 3 out of a do-nothing, nothing special, no big engine, literally green through and through John boat. I bought my first bass boat, which was old Ruby, the Triton, when I was 32, and this is my first brand new bass boat. And I like to protect it. So, as always, I like to use BIA insurance. BIA insurance keeps my boat. It kept Ruby safe, and now it's keeping the Green Goblin safe because I can't afford for something to happen and me still pay payments on this boat, worst case scenario, and not be able to replace it. Now, the good thing about it, you can see my buddy Mike back here, is it'll actually cover his stuff. Now, that's what I love about BIA insurance is that they are boater insurance agency. So unlike all those bundle agencies, and I've heard some nightmares, they know what you need. Go get a free estimate, BIA.us. And probably one of my favorite rod series is what we're going to be using today. This is the new Element Z2, so the second version of this rod. I think it runs like 130, 135, and they've got everything in it, including, if you haven't seen our iCast video, a big swim bait, a hard swim bait rod in this. Made 100% in the USA, and it's got the cork grips on it. It's kind of a bare bones, like an unfinished. You can feel it, super sensitive. I think it's one of the best rods out there, pure and simple. This is a Cashin. It is a 7'3" medium heavy fast, which is what I like to throw this on. Now, this is a Fitzgerald VLD10, and this is an 8-1-1 because most of the time I'm fishing this in open water. So I like that high speed so that when I make that long cast, I've got a lot of line out there and they hit it, I can take it up, set the hook, and get those bass to the boat. We've got K9 Pro 100, 100% fluorocarbon on here. And that's going to be 15 to 17 pound test line on that. By the way, 10% discount. I'm begging you geeks, go try K9 line. You will not be sorry, and you get it for 10% off. So when it comes to fishing a Mag Neko rig, it's really the same as fishing any other Neko rig. You're just using heavier tackle. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a long cast because I like to be able to drag it through that school that's out there deep, or cover that area. Like, you know, this point right here behind me, there's a road bed that drops off there, and there's a point, and they love to hang off this outside. So what ends up happening for me is I'll throw up on that point and I'll drag it down and go right through those places that those bass love to set up on. You'll bring it through rock. Look, you can drag it, you can hop it, but my favorite retrieve is probably going to be throw it out there, let it sink to the bottom, shake it just a little bit, shake that slack in the line, then drag it a little, shake it again, give it a couple of hops, don't move it far, let it fall to the bottom. You'll get a reaction bite a lot of times on that drop again. Same sort of thing. Shake that slack, drag it, shake that slack, hop it. That way it really tells me what they want. Do they want it staying on the bottom? Are they hitting it when it's drug on the bottom? Are they hitting it when it comes up those 2 times? Or are they hitting it when it drops? That's going to clue you in on what you need to do to catch more fish with a Mag Neko rig. Now, when it comes to a hook set, I am coming straight up with it. Straight up, I'm going to reel down, get to the side, and then I'm going to get them to the boat. Most time, like I said, we're using a pretty good hook in this. We're using upsized weight, so do what you want to do to get them in. I'm going to boat hop them, or I'm going to have my buddy get a net, or I'm going to get a net. And put those bass in the boat so you can count them. Get a picture, let them go. But that is the best way to fish the Mag Neko rig. And I'm going to tell you, a lot of people are going to be really ticked off that I'm showing you this. So geeks, I'm telling you, pick up a Mag Neko rig during the summer. It's big worm season, and you need to throw a Magnum trick worm. It will get you some big bites as we get into August, even into September. Now, if you want to learn more about throwing big worms, and if you want to see my top 5 go-to Neko worms, make sure you go check out these 2 videos right here. Otherwise, questions, comments in the comments section below. Like it if you like it. Don't forget to subscribe. Make sure you ring that bell so you get the notifications. Help us get to 100K. And you, the 100% Watch Squad, you are the ones that are going to help us do that. Thank you, and you geeks rock.